So we just escaped Peru, and they literally just declared a state of emergency in Lima. We got out of there just a few hours ago, and I don't know if I have the worst luck in the world, or if we can call it the best luck in the world, because everywhere we go, we literally ride the wave of the pandemic. Let's start in 2020. We were in Philippines and Hong Kong right as they announced their first COVID cases way back in January 2020. And as soon as they announced them, we were already on the plane leaving. Then, February 27th, we landed in Venice, right as they declared on that day the official epicenter of the pandemic for Europe. And we were in Venice right for that, and we left 2 days before they actually locked it down. Then we were in Netherlands and France a couple days later, and we left France a couple days before we locked it down. And now everywhere we go, it's like we said, we just got to Lima, and as we were leaving, state of emergency. And I know I'm missing something I can't think of right now. Oh yes, we went to Mexico. We were there when they canceled all the flights, and we were stranded there for 4 days. It's like everywhere we go, we're there for the event that's significant. We were in the UK right when the Queen died. I literally spoke the day of her funeral, and when all the world leaders happened to be there. Like, what are the chances of all these things happening? We're either at the wrong place at the wrong time, or we're always at the right place at the right time. Guys, this is a flight to Mexico, and look at this, mask mandates everywhere, except this guy. This is not going away. Okay, so here's an update. We escaped Peru very early this morning. I used the word escaped because flights were being canceled. There's civil unrest going on, especially in the area of Cusco, which is where you need to fly into if you're going to Machu Picchu or any of those areas in the remote parts. And as the last tally goes, I think there was about 50 people killed. So what was our experience like in Peru? We only got to go in Lima and the surrounding areas. So what's it like? Well, the airport is in a location called San Miguel. It's pretty damn ghetto, to the point where even the car rental people warn you to get the car and get the hell out of there. Not a very good feeling. Apparently, the safest place is an area called Miraflores. So we ended up going there, getting a place. It actually is very nice there. You're right on the beach. We got some crazy waves for surfing. I almost freaked out when I saw them. I would never do it. Not gonna lie. But yeah, Miraflores is a pretty nice area. Also super expensive. It's just as expensive as any American city would be. And then my wife wanted to get some hair extensions. So she found a store, and it was in the area called Victoria. Now I didn't know, but Victoria is like the slum area. We went over there, and it reminded me of the Philippines. It was so crowded. There's just non-stop honking. There was cops with riot shields on almost every street corner. We actually found the store, got what we came for, and they even warned Lynn, because she was standing outside and she was on the phone, and they asked her to come inside the store. And we didn't understand why at first. And then they told her, like, if you stand out there on your phone like that, you're gonna get pickpocketed because you're not paying attention. That's how it is over there. So whatever, nothing bad ever happened to us. We ended up doing that mountain trek yesterday. You guys saw the video. It was called Marcuzzi. It's an area way up in the mountains where there's rocks that look like people's faces. And nobody knows if they were made naturally or if they were carved by people. But they look too distinct to be made naturally, in my opinion. They look like they were carved by someone, and they're massive. So then we ended up going back to Peru because we had to fly through Colombia. Once again, they had mask mandates from Peru. For any country you're going or coming from Colombia or Brazil, there'll be mask mandates on the planes. That's what people need to understand. So if you are going to Mexico, like we are, I'm in Mexico right now, but you have to fly through Colombia and then fly from Colombia to Mexico. On the way into Colombia, there'll be mask mandates, and on the way out of Colombia to Mexico, regardless of the airline, there will be mask mandates. Now, if you're flying from Canada or US, for instance, to go to Mexico, there won't be mask mandates. But any flights coming and going from Colombia or Brazil right now, and that's a lot because a lot connect through Colombia, will have mask mandates. But we made it to Mexico. We're gonna have 3 days to actually relax now. I will say the one saving grace about Peru, I'm not going to say it's a complete loss, and you can look this up. I actually did, because I was like, wow, the food is really good here. Uncharacteristically good compared to the rest of the area and everything else. I was like, this is standout good. And sure enough, when I checked, Peru is known as the food capital of the Americas, North America, Central, and South. So apparently Peru has better food than Canada, US, Mexico, and every other country. And it's because of the Spanish and French influence, I believe, because those are the two top countries in the world according to the guidebooks for food, as well as Italy, of course. But that's Peru in a nutshell. It has character. It's a little bit scary. There's a lot of bad stuff going on right now. They're not as friendly as I have seen in other countries, but it does have pretty fantastic food. And we made it out alive. Oh, I forgot. We did get pulled over by a military-style checkpoint. How could I forget this? This is when we were coming back to Mia Flores from Victoria, so from the slums to the nice area. And on the way, you just see all these cops and cop police cars, and they're all just standing there, and they're just pulling random people over. And of course, they pulled us over, and they searched us. They searched the car. I gave them the rental agreement, gave them my driver's license. These guys wanted us to show our passports, and I told them we were told not to bring our passports, leave that shit in the safe. And they were so concerned. They wanted to see our passport stamps to see how long we had been in the country. Even though the rental car said I had just rented it for 2 days, they didn't want to take our words for it. I even showed them our flights out of the country. It was like they were looking for any excuse, probably to extort money, but it was a pretty scary situation. In the end, they let us go. They didn't really bother us that long, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But when you're in a country like Peru, and all that unrest is going on, that's what you want to be dealing with, is cops and military-style police. Just saying. And I don't know why it is, but it seems like every time I'm in either the wrong place at the wrong time or call it the right place at the right time. We were here, like before the pandemic started, we were in Thailand and Philippines early 2020, like January 2020. And we left both countries, coincidentally, in the first days where they were announcing the first cases of COVID. And then February 27th, my wife's birthday, we landed in Venice. The same day they declared Venice the epicenter of the virus in Europe. And then since then, we were in London when the Queen was being buried. Now we're in Peru for civil unrest. I'm sure I'm missing some other crazy coincidences where we end up in places where shit starts going down. And I'll think of them later. But guys, if you're gonna go to Peru, that's what you gotta know. I feel a lot safer in Mexico, I'm not gonna lie. We're not on the side where the cartel is, so we're good to go. I'm gonna go have some fun now. I think we're not ready. We're gonna get some food, so I've been starved. We've been flying since 5 in the morning, which means we were at the airport at 3 in the morning. Cheers, guys. God bless. February 18th, Toronto. Everybody better be there. That's all I gotta say.